it's always kind of a competition to see who's going to have the first letter come in and what time, because we kind of tell them, 7:01, 7:02, you can send it in. So you kind of just waiting to see who that is. This year was Marcus Elliott, from Toledo Whitmer, which isn't a surprise when you know him and you know his family. So, and then really when you start getting a little bit nervous when it starts hitting around 10 or 11 o'clock and you haven't gotten a couple of the kids in, but I think it was around 10:45, 11 o'clock that we got the last one. We knew it was kind of going to be, one was going to be a little bit late with the kid from Las Vegas, just a time difference, but he was actually the last one in, and once we got his, we were good. 150 Division I kids from Ohio that signed Division I scholarships, which is a lot. I think the 5th largest in the United States. So this is a state that's huge, in Ohio football, or, good football players. So we sit there and we knew that we went into it, that we were going to hit the state, hard. I think there's enough good football players in this state that you can win this conference with. So it's going to be something that we do, year in and year out. We're going to get the base of our kids from here and what we can't find with our needs, and then we will branch out and, to Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Florida, Georgia.
There too.
Yeah, there is, just because this is a hotbed of, of high school football. There's a lot of good high school football players just in this area right here. So, we wanted to hit, of course, you want to start with, of course, with Kent, and we got a local kid from Kent, and then branch out to Aurora, also too. But, you look at Stark County, you look at Cleveland, those are a lot of good high school football teams up there. So we want to make sure if, we're not going to get them all, but if a kid goes to a MAC school, at least he has visited here. And you really look at our 2 years, really that we've been here. Last year we signed 21 kids and 20 of them were captains. And this year we have 20 with 18 of them, captains. So it really just shows a quality of those kids, again, that their teammates a lot of times that are choosing, or their coaches are choosing, that they put a lot on their shoulders. So a lot of them can sit there and handle the transition from high school to college when they do have those leadership qualities. So it's something special that we think that when you can, so much in being a college athlete, there's so many pressures and all that type of deal, and you got to have certain type of skills. And for those guys to be captains on their teams, it shows leadership qualities. It starts up front. I mean, we always sit there and say it starts up front, and with us only taking one of them last year, we knew that we were going to have to go heavy on them this year. So our goal was 4. We knew that we were going to sign 4 kids, and we got that accomplished with 3 of them from Ohio and 1 from Pennsylvania. So, and then on the other side of the ball, we signed 3, defensive linemen also too. So it'll improve us tremendously on our depth on both sides of the ball. And really, when you look at, you kind of combine those linebackers and DBs, with us taking 8, total of those type guys. Those are where you look at your special teams coming from too. We probably will always sign 4 or 5 defensive backs a year, just because those guys are so valuable. And again, like you said, the special teams, and you just need those type body types, on the team.
When you look at
we sit there and this game is getting bigger, stronger, faster, type guys. And I don't go into it really looking for size type guys. The bigger your team is, the better off it is, of course. I think up front you got to look for the body type people. But I think when you look at the skill position and all the rest, I just want the best football player. We were fortunate this year when you look at the size and the length of the kids that we did, get long-rangey type kids. So I think it is a help. I think it is a benefit, but it's not the telltale all for us as we go out and recruit. We just want the best football player.
And it looks like a couple of these guys have the
Me being a defensive coach, I always say it's easier to move on that side of the ball, on the offensive side of the ball, just because, defense is it's a mentality, and if you don't have it, it's tough to sit there and do and to be a part of. So we kind of take it, if a kid isn't physical enough or tough enough that we feel that can play on defense, then it's always easier to move on the other side of the ball on the offensive side. Not that you can't be tough and physical, but there's other attributes, if he's talented enough that he can sit there and play on that side. And that's coming from a defensive guy now. An offensive guy would probably say something different, But, that's the one thing that I do like is to recruit guys who can play both sides of the ball. They come here, and wherever they can see the field the fastest, then they can help this football team. And we've got a bunch of those kids that can play both ways. We knew we wanted to go in and get 3 inside guys, and we had the 2 guys committed, and we needed another one. We had 15 names up there, on the board, that guys that just didn't pan out on, what we feel was our kind of guys. So I called a buddy of mine out at Arkansas, Richard Davenport, who kind of covers Arkansas, that I've stayed in contact with, and he does their blog and all that type of stuff. So I called him and I said, hey, I need a defensive tackle. So when you talk about the SEC and you talk about guys up front, they're stockpiled at that. So he called another friend of his, and he sent us 3 names of kids from Las Vegas, area. And we watched all 3 of them. We rated them, and we kind of called the best one that we thought. And Zach was interested, and Coach George went out there 3 weeks in a row and kind of, solidified the deal. So it's a good gift from us. A great school. Bishop Gorman's one of the top 25 schools in the country. And that kid, when you talk to the coach, there's a lot of kids that go Division I from that school, and he was probably the #1 leader on that football team. I think there's 2 things when you look at, again, the leadership. You talk about, 18 out of the 20 guys are captains on their football team. And then I think you also look at their winning ways. I mean, 4 of the teams were state championships, 5 of them were state runner-up. So you talk about leadership, you talk about, winning. I think that's a big part of, guys' success on the next level. So, if we didn't think they could play, of course, we wouldn't recruit them. So they're all good football players, and, everybody always asks, well, who's going to help you? That's the fun part of recruiting, to see which guys come in and help you, because it's not always the guys who you think. I take Nate Holly, for instance. Nate Holly, we wasn't even recruiting at the beginning of recruiting, and he comes in and he's on every special team, and he starts the last 3 games of the season and leads the team in tackles the last 3 games of the season. So you just don't know. And the guys that come in and grind, the guys that come in and have, a little bit more of intangibles of wanting to be great faster, those are the guys who play. And that's going to be the fun part of this class, to see who comes in and shines for us in 2014.
From this class, was there any?
The kind of out there just because of how it worked out, because a lot of times they give you guys, or you get guys from someone else, and they don't pan out. And you look at Zach, and Zach's a 3-point student with 1,100, test score on the ACT, and we're sitting there and we got the film. We were like, there's no way we're going to get this kid. I really thought, when you watch his film, that he was a big-time recruit. But there's so many schools out there, he only had a couple offers, and most of them were 1AA schools. So, and the kid's special. I mean, the kid's he has a chance to win the state in wrestling. He actually spars with some of those MMA guys, UFC guys out there. Frank Mir and those guys, he actually wrestles, with those guys. So he's a tough kid. So we're pretty excited about going out there and getting it. And when you can have a kid that you get from a great high school, you can always go back there and get more kids. So it's going to be a good place for us to go recruit. Really is for them to finish strong academically. I always sit there and tell you, man, enjoy your senior year, because that's the one thing that, once you sign, now you feel a part of the Kent State family, which you are, but enjoy your senior year and finish strong academically. Next thing that we will get them up is we'll get them up for the spring game. So.